You are watching God of Wonder TV to refill, refresh, and resent by the word of nation.
Good morning once again. Praise the Lord. This is God of Wonder TV. Our show is Holistic Wellness Show. On Holistic Wellness Show, we talk about our wellness in terms of our spirit, our mind, and our body. And we've been talking about mental wellness. Our conversation for this almost now into the third month, we've been talking about our mental wellness. And we've talked about stress. You can always be able to go to the page and look into them. We've talked about depression. We've talked about bipolar. We've talked about suicide. Last time we were talking about suicide prevention. So today I want to just talk about our personality types and how that personality type affects our mental wellness. That is when we do not manage that particular personality, it affects our mental wellness. Of course, we know personality types are divided into two major ones. That is the introvert and the extrovert. And of course, there is a benefit in terms of mental wellness of an extrovert, and the same with also an introvert. But sometimes now, when those two personalities or whatever now personality, we will get into the temperaments deeper. When we don't manage our personality well, it can predispose us to cases of mental health, or we can have challenges with our mental health because of the personality that we have. So I'll be talking about temperaments, and the first temperament I'll be talking about is a choleric. A choleric is a person a choleric is an extrovert, is a person who has characteristics of a born leader, somebody who is outgoing, somebody who is a risk taker, somebody who wants to see things moving. One of the challenges with a choleric is that the choleric wants to challenge other people and sometimes even almost think for them. Now, when a choleric is with people who are not fast thinkers, they can be very frustrated, and that frustration can cause mental health issues. Those are some of the challenges now I was mentioning, how our personality types come and then they are able to impact our mental wellness. So some of the few strengths about a choleric that I would want to mention, I would want to say, of course, they are full of youthful energy, they are very creative, they are confident, they are hardworking. Now, if this person who has these qualities encounters somebody who is not as hardworking as them, as creative as them, as a good organizer, when they connect with somebody who is all the time messed up, they can get frustrated by them, and that can cause, of course, those challenges of mental wellness. Then just a bit, of course, they have self-discipline, they are competitive. Yes, the competitive nature also is another aspect that would affect their mental wellness. Allow me to give an example of this child who performs very well in class every other time. But the competition, because the truth is that we will not always win. We will not always be the best. So there are times we are going to win and there are times that we are able to lose. A choleric may not be able to take losing well. And mostly you find people who slip into depression easily are cholerics. People who know who they are. They know what they want. most of the times you may get into this place because of the competitive nature of a choleric. Allow me to just read a little bit about weaknesses so that we can be able to connect the weaknesses a little bit with mental wellness. They are easily manipulative. They exploit others to get their way. Now, the truth is, if they are not able to exploit to get their way, this is a negative trait. They will be frustrated. They have a know-it-all attitude. They set high standards which they expect everyone to meet. Again, those high standards, if again you're not able to meet them, you can very easily get frustrated. They stress other people who are slow. Those are the things I was saying. Now, when you connect with people who are not as creative, who are not as competitive, who are not as disciplined as you are, those challenges, the choleric will face them. They dominate conversations, they are rude, they rush to decisions, they have little tolerance to mistakes, they lack empathy, they can be workaholic, they can be stressed when they do not achieve their goals, they can be hot-tempered, and they can be domineering. Now, remember, when you're dealing with any type of personality, what you need to emphasize on is the strength. So remember, we talked about strength like being business-minded, self-disciplined, confident, business-minded. All those, they are the ones that we are supposed to enhance, even as we work towards being able to manage the weaknesses. If you don't manage the weaknesses well, your personality type can be a challenge, or it can predispose you to mental health issues. So what are the winning attitudes of this personality type? Being prone to pride and arrogance, they need to balance achievement with good interpersonal relationship. One of the winning, one of the things that will really help a person who is a choleric is working on interpersonal relationship, how to relate with other people. Remember, they are the ones who guide others. They are the ones who are always there in front. They are the ones who know what needs to be done. And sometimes you can very easily not be interested in the company of other people. And of course, the more then you create many enemies, the more you are predisposing yourself to mental challenges and places where you'll be stressed. The other point is, be more considerate to feelings and emotions of others. Now, the emotional intelligence of a choleric has to be very high. If I don't have a good emotional intelligence is the ability to be able to manage my own emotions, be able to understand and manage them, and be able to understand the emotions of other people, and be able to interact with them without requiring them to change for me to interact with them. So that is emotional intelligence. And remember, this is something that many of us don't have. You hear people saying, that is how I am. That is me. That is how I've always been. That statement is a statement of a person who is not willing to change. It is a statement of a person who is not willing to push their limits. They still want to remain in the same state they are in. So we've said, of course, you will be considerate to the emotions of others, because then in that case you'll be able to have harmony even as you're interacting with other people and as you show direction. The other one is always view other people as different from you rather than as slow. So a choleric, in fact, what gives a choleric more frustration is wondering, why are people lazy? Why are people behaving the way they are? Why don't they think as fast as I do? So it is good to always know that people are different. People are not always the same. The next one is, of course, learn to forgive others. Don't carry grudges. A choleric can carry grudges for a long time, and that one again will cause emotional pain. Emotional pain is what will cause depression. Emotional pain is what will cause stress. Emotional pain is what is going to even cause issues of bipolar and all. So learn to forgive others. Avoid negative competition. Don't compete with other people in a negative way. Strive to bring the best in yourself instead of struggling to outdo others. You remember the competitive nature of a choleric. Sometimes because of that competition, they can reach a place and it's like they're striving. So that strife breaks the relationships and causes unnecessary stress. And not, of course, avoid undue confrontations. So if I am confronting every relationship I meet, I am confronting. At home, I am the only one who wants to be heard. In the office, I'm the only one who wants to be heard. If when we go to get into a meeting, there is nobody else who can speak. It is only me who speaks. And of course, when I am talking like that, I'm almost feeling like I'm talking to myself because I'm a choleric myself. And I had really to work on myself in this. I remember, and even now, my emotional lows come from the things I'm discussing. That issue of competitiveness, the issue of course, being able to forgive others, being able to just believe in other people. I mean, those are the challenges that I've really had to work on. And I'm still, as I speak right now, it is work in progress. So I believe we've been able to get how to manage a personality type, choleric, how to be able to look into my weakness or strength and look into my weakness and be able to balance the two so that I can be able to manage my emotions and be able to manage my mental wellness. The other personality type is sanguine. Sanguine is the popular personality. It is the personality that mostly has the comedians, the musicians, sometimes pastors, not all, entertainers, people who love crowds, people who are comfortable and work better in crowds, the sanguine. The sanguines are very sincere. And sometimes because of their sincerity, they end up giving excessive information to people. And this, when, of course, because you did not choose who you are giving information, when that information leaks, a sanguine can be really hurt. And of course, that will again cause emotional pain. They have wide-eye curiosity. Of course, they want to know new things. They rarely keep grudges. So they forgive easily. They are beauty conscious. They always look great physically. A sanguine can easily struggle from self-esteem because they are looking for approval from how I dress to how I talk to how I live, how my hair looks. Looks is key to a sanguine. They are salt of the world. I remember I said they're entertainers. They think and talk very fast. Interact with the environment to make it more lively, stimulating, and fun. They bring life in parties and they love people and people love them. Now, a sanguine is a person that, of course, will have relationships with so many people at the same time. And the challenge is because, of course, they may not take time to know people well. They are very highly hurt. They trust people easily. So they are also prone to being hurt. They make friends easily and have many friends, are good in people-oriented careers, are generous with time and money, are comical and humorous, are always optimistic, are compassionate and emotional, hence cry a lot. Some of them is, of course, they waste a lot of time talking and socializing, do not prioritize, hence take up projects at the same time. Of course, it is pick this, drop this, pick this, drop this. Those are things that would cause a lot of stress because when you realize You have done so much, yet you've achieved nothing. You'll be frustrated. And those are challenges, of course, that would cause mental health issues. They want to be center of interest, can do anything, including exaggerating, lying, dressing ridiculously or indecently, and negative peer activities. So they can do anything. Because of that, you remember we talked about their desire to be noticed or to be loved and accepted. So there can be exaggeration. Of course, again, when they don't receive that, that can really expose a sanguine to pain, emotional pain and trauma. They feel insecure when not noticed or applauded, are attracted to glamour and beauty, hence can be materialistic, are lured to negative money-making ventures like prostitution and drug peddling. They have poor memory of names, unrealistic because they are poor in follow-up, they are poor listeners and are not patient. They complete sentences for others. Now, all these weaknesses I've just mentioned about a sanguine, one of them which is key is this desire to be accepted, the desire to just be celebrated. The truth is, we are living in a very negative environment. Many people are not nice. People will not always talk good things about other people. So if I am, my acceptance of who I am is coming from what people think about me, the truth is that I will get hurt because people will always be negative, or they will speak things that are not nice to me. So definitely there is need of being able to know how to manage such. And the winning attitudes that would help now manage, of course, the issues of emotional pain is work on your external locus, that is relying on other people, judgment, to build your self-esteem. So you work on your internal locus of control. I am able to be comfortable the way I am, and I love myself, even without waiting to hear other people praise you or not. Stop being people pleaser. Focus on your strength and abilities to build your self-confidence. Avoid overdoing. Being social to avoid wasting time. Avoid making promises you cannot keep. Be content with what you can afford. Avoid negative temptations aimed at acquiring material things. In the social media age, and of course the awareness that is out there, there are some people who literally cannot sleep at night because they saw this friend wearing this nice dress or in this vacation, and some of these things are faked, they are not true. But because of that desire to be out there and the materialistic aspect of a sanguine, they can be affected by such things. So it's good once you know my personality is a sanguine, and you realize you have a challenge, of course, of that desire to just please people, desire to for material things, then you start working on yourself and be satisfied with what you have. Improve your listening skills. Of course, remember we said that they finish sentences for others, because now if every time we are talking with someone, I am not allowed to talk, I will not want to be connected with you, because if every time you are the only person talking, of course, I will not want to be in company with you. And of course, that means then that as a person is going to be limited in the number of friends. So we'll keep getting hurt every other time. Of course, give others time to talk. Allow me to say just this, that people who are highly affected by depression and suicide are in this category of sanguine. And the next personality type that I'm talking about, that is melancholy, the perfectionist. This person who wants things done in a specific way, orderly. Life is not in order. Most of the things are not the way we want them to be. So sometimes things will be messy. Sometimes things will work as we desire them to. So it is good to give space for wrong. So because of this aspect of wanting to be a people pleaser, a sanguine can be very vulnerable to depression. I hope that one we have noted. So the next one now is a melancholy. Their strengths are they are introverts and thinkers. Now that part of being a thinker sometimes makes them overthink. So they have to think about almost everything and question almost everything. Now, the more you question, the more you maybe also are exposing yourself to pain and emotional pain. And I'm not saying that thinking is wrong. They are gifted with high intelligence and IQ, so they are very smart. They are thoughtful, creative, and philosophical. They are romantic and love nature. Are good poets and writers. Are sensitive to one's people and strive not to hurt their feelings. They make faithful friends. Now, the melancholic is very reserved. Is a person who is very calculative in their relationships. They don't want to just get into any. The challenge may not come in the friendship. The challenge may come in the questioning and being too critical of almost everything. That is where the challenge of a melancholic is. They are self-sacrificing. They have good memory of dates and figures. They are good at diagnosis and potential risk. They are intellectually minded. They love. You will love their company. They do not rely on others to feel good about themselves. Now, the challenge with a melancholic with that statement that they do not rely on others to feel good about themselves is that a melancholic can close themselves in a house for a week, just managing their own emotional pain without wanting to talk to anyone. That can easily predispose a melancholic to depression, because if they are hit by something they cannot manage on their own, and remember we said they are thinkers, they are analyzers, they are critical. So all these things, when you go through an emotional pain, if you handle them alone and closed in one place, you can very easily get affected. Then, of course, the weaknesses now of a melancholic. And a melancholic, remember we said, is a perfectionist. They waste time in pursuit of perfection. So they are working so hard to see things perfect. They fear making business ventures. They are suspicious of people. The analytical aspect. They have relatively few friends. They lack confidence in themselves. They suffer from low self-esteem. They fear making mistakes, can be very withdrawn, focus on negative side. Now, a melancholic in the personality can be very pessimistic. Remember, we talked of thinkers. So the thinking can gravitate towards negative, and almost everything is gauged in negativity. So we are looking for mistakes in everything. Before we approve something, you're thinking of what is wrong about it rather than what is right about the same. And of course, that can be very mentally draining to a melancholic. They are prone to suicide because they are very secretive and they are pessimistic. A pessimistic person is a person who is negative. Remember, we have said they are prone to suicide because they will go through hard times and they will not tell anyone for the rest of their life. Because one, of course, they don't want to be criticized. They believe that they can be able to solve their problems by themselves. And remember also, because of the order, they want to remain orderly. So they don't want to look messy by sharing their pain. So they can very highly be prone to suicide. So what are the winning attitudes of a melancholic? One of them is improve on attitude and perceptions. So read positive books, read inspirational books. Make sure your mind is not filled with negative information, too much of it. Because if the mind is filled with negative information, definitely that is what you'll be processing. So make sure you listen, watch. Even when you're watching a movie, watch movies that are inspirational, that are not negative. Understand that life is not black and white. There are shades of gray in between. That everything will not always be orderly as you would want it to be. People are not all perfect. Be less judgmental and give benefit of doubt. Strive to focus on the positive side of life. Focus on your strength instead of the weaknesses. Learn to share about life more. Allow yourself to live. So remember, those winning attitudes I'm talking about are almost remedies to any mental health issue. When we talk about improving attitude and perception, it means if I have a negative attitude, then I have to replace it with positive. Understanding that life is not black and white is knowing that things may not go the way I want. So I don't have to be stressed about it. That people are not perfect. I can be able to give grace to people. I can be less judgmental and give more benefit of doubt. You can be able to focus on the positive side of life. Another personality, which is the fourth one and the last one, is phlegmatic. A phlegmatic is a peaceful person, is a peace lover. This is a person who just wants peace. They want to see peace prevail. So their strength is that they are introverts. They are always concerned about people. They are likable. They always like helping people, have many friends, are calm and composed even on the face of adversity, have ability to control and conceal their emotions, which is again now when we go to the mental health issues, very dangerous, because it is good to be able to express what you're feeling, and especially if it is a painful emotion, it's good to talk about it, because if we allow it to just remain there, it is going to hurt us and other people around us. So again, it is not a good thing to conceal emotions. They are respectful of people. They are good mediators. All the time when they are with people, they want peace. They want to see things working and being done right. They don't interfere with people's issues. They are diplomatic, are peaceful, peace promoters, are good team players, are prudent in their talking and dressing, are sociable, friendly, understanding, empathetic, and good listeners. They make good counselors and administrators, are obedient, make good employees. Now, the only challenge with this person is that sometimes they are not able even to identify their emotions. They are so engulfed in this environment of wanting things to work for other people that sometimes they may not be able to have time to think about themselves. So they can be going through a painful experience, but they are so concerned about the other person. Like when there is loss of a loved one at home, they are the ones that will be taking care of everyone else, yet they are also bereaved. So it's good. What happens now when that happens is this pain is left undealt with, so it has a way of eating them up later on. What are the winning attitudes? Of course, work on self-motivation, explore your potential more fully, set your own principles and strive to abide by them. Fight laziness, of course, by listening to activities. Strive for a sense of confidence and rate yourself more highly. So the four personality types I've talked about, the first one I talked about was a choleric, and I said choleric are leaders. They are born leaders. They are people who make things happen. Then we talked about a sanguine, and with the sanguine we said this is the popular person. When you get into a crowd, this is the one who is talking, is the one who is entertaining others, is the one who is making things colorful in that environment. all these personalities, there is really nothing wrong about a person. Sometimes there's a way those personality types are presented, and people almost get offended because of their personality type. There is no personality type that is better than the other. Every personality is important in the society. We cannot be the same. I don't want to imagine how it would look if we were all cholerics. We would be fighting like nothing. I don't know how it would look if we were all phlegmatic, peace lovers, and we are trying to harmonize everybody. It would be a very boring environment. But because God created us uniquely and different, we are able to complement one another. Of course, a choleric will complement a phlegmatic will complement a sanguine is going to complement a melancholic who is a little bit withdrawn and just wants to be in their own space. So all these personalities are okay. What we need to be aware about, it is how those personality types can impact us mentally, how they can maybe destabilize or make us get into some emotional pain that we would have managed better if we knew ourselves more. So remember, this is part of now mental wellness and awareness. So the more we know ourselves, the more we understand who we are, then we will be able to guard ourselves. Like when I was giving the example of a choleric being aggressive and not understanding why people are slow. So if that person is the manager in a place, they have no patience for anyone. It is do things the way I have told you and do them very fast. And if you fail to do them, I will be, of course, offended, and it is now quarreling and all. But when I know that those people may be slow because that is how they are born, that is how they are created, what I will do is I will help them become. I will assist them in being able to be better workers rather than criticizing them and pressurizing them. Again, if I am the sanguine and I know my space is when we get into a place and maybe people are mourning and people need some form of entertainment or need a lively environment, I will show up and do what I am supposed to be doing. When I am the peace lover, when there is conflict, I'll come in as the mediator because I have now known who I am. When it is the melancholic, these are the persons who want order. So when there is need to be planning, there is need to be things to be put in place, the melancholic will come in and put order. Then all these personality types then end up complementing each other rather than competing with one another and causing unnecessary emotional pain in our lives. So that's the much I would want to share today on personality and how our personality impacts our mental wellness. And remember, we are doing mental wellness. The purpose of this is more of awareness. How can I be able to empower myself more? How can I be able to become more productive? How can I be able to impact other people around me? How can I be able to just not sit down there and say, this is how I'm born. This is how the whole of our family, this is how we talk. This is how we do things. If I can be able to know, because I know better, then I can do better. So may the Lord bless us so much. That was Holistic Wellness Show on God of Wonder TV. My name is KARAMBU MWANGI.